All right, to old and new subscribers, let me do the house cleaning very quickly. Please try to sub or at least give a chance to the other channel. I will put the link in the description. And we've been working through of how to come up with some system with our memberships, Patreon, or coffees or whatever. I don't say that to shake the money tree. The stuff here is very, very sensitive. So I will try to work with the YouTube system, but some stuff here is pretty shocking. So be prepared, it's very shocking material. We'll be working through Gary's testimony. And Gary was involved with the Lisa McPherson case, and he was working for OSA. And he says very directly, yes, he was given an order to, known as we're putting it, removing someone.
You know, it, from what I was told by the police officials here in the United States, I should have gone to Chicago, I should have cut her brake lines, I should have run her off the road and tried to kill her. Then, they could have done something. But because simply someone told me to kill her, and it would have been my word against a very powerful organization.
So let me give a little bit of background. Gary was a very dedicated Scientologist in the 1980s, college educated, and he became very dedicated. He joined OSA, started doing some illegal activities, and then graduated. And this particular order to remove someone was Cynthia Kisser. Cynthia ran an anti-cult organization that Miscavige was getting very, very angry about. And they went after it with lawsuits and harassed people, but they wanted something much more immediate. So they proposed directly to get rid of her, and that was too much for Gary. And again, let me be clear, Rinder is involved, but at a more removed step. The people who directly proposed this were David Butterworth and Eugene, and these two people went to him. They made the proposition, and he was shocked. It was too much, and he made a very brave decision. He left the organization, he left OSA, and went public and exposed it, exposed the whole thing. He went to lawyers and the police and built a case against them. But now it gets depressing because he tried to do something legally, but he was being told by prosecutors in LA, we understand what you're trying to say, and he provided many documents, but they just could not move forward. But he does say that Rinder was aware of what was happening.
Legal activity on behalf of the Church of Scientology always has to have the approval of Mike Rinder. Nothing goes without Mike Rinder's approval. If in fact someone commits an illegal act for Scientology and Mike Rinder hasn't approved it, that person you don't see anymore. That person is removed from his post, he's using RPF, he's sent to Happy Valley.
The way it works is that OSA has different divisions. Rinder was basically the international division, so he was overlooking many activities. So was he aware of this order? He had to be. No doubt about that. However, the actual order came from different people. David and Eugene. And as he admits, I can only testify that they gave me that order. I refused it and I left the organization. And there we are. However, he does state, as a fact, from all his years in OSA, yes. Rinder is in charge. He coordinates. He signs off on these very sensitive operations. If it's something illegal with OSA, Rinder has to be aware, and they keep tabs on these things very precisely. So the idea that Rinder is not aware of this operation or this order, which apparently was being discussed even by Miscavige, they were having meetings. Again, they were joking, but they were talking about these things, saying, yeah, we need to get rid of her, and jokingly came up with methods of doing it. And there it's a little bit more shaky, but there was no doubt in his mind they were being serious, that they wanted her gone. But thankfully, Cynthia, not hurt. She was, yes, stalked and harassed, but she's safe. But it was a very touch and go matter. So people keep saying, well, what do you expect Rinder to do? Well, it's not just he could do more. He can give specifics. Gary did. He's very clear he can't be specific about everything. There were things he did that he could be prosecuted for. He didn't talk about those things. But he can be specific about many other things, again, criminal things, and be open about them. So the idea that Rinder can't talk because he might go to jail, no. You could still be very specific, name very specific people, specific operations, and be safe legally. So it's not a matter of safety, it's a matter of convenience. So where are we going with this? Is he still in OSA? Honestly, I don't know, but the idea that he is who he says he is not sustainable. He either is insanely incompetent as a critic and or he's not really an anti-Scientologist. He's only pretending to be to make enough money, get enough fame, but he's not going to expose Scientology in any strong degree. He's only going to keep to certain topics. That is it. If you ask any further, just doesn't care. He either honestly doesn't care about these things or realizes it's just too dangerous and he'd have to give something up. He's not willing to do that. And that is the end of the issue. But the idea that he can't say more. No, Mike McClary said more. Gary said more. Jerry Armstrong said more. So it's wrong to say it's a sharp binary that it's complete silence or you do the Rinder path. No, you can expose a lot more. Many other people have. So the idea that we have no precedent is simply untrue. He could have exposed more. He has chosen not to. Why? We don't know. But he could be saying a whole lot more.